Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Garrett Smith back for another live stream, Love Your Liver live stream, and we're here. It's been a I don't know how you guys have been, but it's been a heck of a week for me. Might even say one of the toughest weeks I've been through ever. So, still here, still smiling, still finding solutions, still praying for solutions and making things happen. So we have a lot of stuff today. Wait, Joe, that's not the right title. That's not the right title, Joe. You got today. Let me show. I'll show the title on my screen until you got it made, Joe. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about there's a new magic vitamin A that the Chinese have come out with. Like they literally called it magic vitamin A. Gosh, they're not telling you what influences is going into that, are they? And then we're going to go into Megan Stevens has concluded her mouse experiment with a super duper low vitamin A diet. And gerbils. They're all fine on a next to zero vitamin A diet. Actually, I'm just going to answer this question real quick. Maggie, you wanted to ask this. Is the Nutrition Detective Zeolite milled instead? It is milled or micronized. It is micronized. It's not nano. It's not ultra micronized. It's not nano. It's micronized. There you go. So, great stuff. And then we have, got to make sure I'm not talking in the background on my own video. And so we wanted to go over I got some studies. I got Megan Stevens stuff. We got 7 testimonials. So it's going to be, a long one, not super short, but not super long. So I'll go through them in order. So Joe, let's hit on that doc. Here we go. Oh, let me put it full screen view. Full screen. There we go. I actually had everything ready significantly early. Some of you might have heard, I may have mentioned this. I'm going to be redoing the liver biopsy and liver necropsy. That's when they do a biopsy of a dead person on their liver. But I'm going to be redoing that video where I was demonstrating that there's a worldwide vitamin A toxicity epidemic going on. I just wasn't feeling it this week, and I didn't have enough time to get all that stuff together because I'm literally going through these giant PDFs. The crazy thing is when I found the paper from the World Health Organization that said that if there are areas where vitamin A deficiency is at a 20% or higher rate, then that is a moderate to severe health concern. Well, 33% of the cadavers that were studied in the US had vitamin A toxicity in their liver. So we have a moderate to severe health concern according to the World Health Organization. And we're going to, as we showed last week, we showed that all the vitamin A testing is basically BS and it overdiagnoses deficiency, if that even exists. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, you're going to want to. That's 263. That's last week. So here, I'm going to open up. So yeah, Megan finished her. Oh, wait, I got to turn off the sound on all these. There we go. Okay. And we'll get these all opened. And then I will show them. Oop. So Megan is a big fan of the Love Your Liver program. She is one of the people who helps us with our research of new things. Yeah. So anyway, here, let me share this. So this is, we have 5 videos from Megan. If you want to go check the development of them over time. Here's the first one. The Gerbil experiments that challenge everything we know about vitamin A. The next one, we have our vitamin A supplements in Africa really helping or hurting. That research is very interesting. Do you know that they found more problems when they were doing pokies in Africa and they gave vitamin A injections at the same time? Weird that two things that might not be good for people could cause problems. Then let's go to, we have Infant mortality rates with vitamin A supplementation. Do the studies prove it's not safe? And in the background, you can see the gerbils. There they are. And then we have her gerbils just past 1 year with 0 vitamin A. Oh, sorry, I'm not switching the screen. Sorry, Joe. You guys have been seeing this screen the whole time. Sorry. So we have the gerbil experiments that challenge everything we know about vitamin A. Then we have our vitamin A supplements in Africa really helping or hurting. The channel is Megan Stevens. Her website is eatbeautiful.net. Then we have this one, infant mortality rates with vitamin A supplementation. Do the studies prove it's not safe? And her gerbils just passed 1 year with 0 vitamin A. Here's that one. And then we have the final one. Mouse study confirms eliminate vitamin A to improve your health. Okay, folks, even if you, Microberto on Twitter, Microberto, Microberto found a paper where that basically they were putting vitamin A in the body and seeing how much came out for a while. And I forget if this was in humans or I think it was in animals. Something, it might have been humans, but I'm pretty sure it was animals. And what they found was that there was some, if you want to believe that vitamin A is necessary, okay, I'm not against it. I don't think anybody's going to get deficient eating any kind of normal, well, even a low vitamin A diet. And what they found was there was some disgustingly small amount of vitamin A that they couldn't recover, that they said was used. Okay. Somebody on a low vitamin A diet gets that much in a day very easily, even if they're trying to minimize vitamin A. So is vitamin A deficiency a problem? Even based on the research that says this is what we couldn't recover. It was some like a couple of hundred units IUs, a couple hundred IUs a day, if even that. There's no way that you can really get below 100 units. Getting below 200 units is quite hard, or you're eating a really weird diet. That could be deficient in multiple things, which was what the whole thing about my presentation last week about vitamin A deficiency shows up in places where people don't eat meat. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but beriberi. Those of you who are worried about beriberi, thiamine deficiency, do you know that beriberi came about on an all white rice diet? All white rice. An all white rice diet. Do you think that could be nutritionally deficient in all sorts of things? Like, oh, I don't know, meat? Most of the nutritional deficiency diseases that you find will be meat deficiency studies when you really look into them. How'd they fix the beriberi epidemic in Japan? Meat and barley. You can look it up. So, anyway, fun stuff. So, I want to thank Megan for doing the gerbil experiments. Thank you so much for doing that. I highly suggest you guys subscribe to her channel and go check it out. I mean, basically, all of the old vitamin A research is getting just destroyed by what we're doing, which is great. Oh wait, who was saying? J Rowe was saying here. Let me show this one. The fast life cycle of gerbils implies that we should see those, quote, deficiency problems sooner if they actually existed. Yes, that's exactly why we're doing them, right? Because we can cycle through them very quickly. Yes. Okay, so let me get into, so we're here again. We're back on the, okay, let me close down these YouTube windows, and then we will start into the research studies. So I was on my YouTube, I check a couple of shorts a day, and I look at my homepage like once a day. And I came across, let me zoom in before Joe tells me to. I found a gentleman talking about this paper. Key pathophysiological role of skeletal muscle disturbance in post-COVID and myalgic encephalomyelitis / chronic fatigue syndrome, ME/CFS, accumulated evidence. So what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to be going over today, folks, is the evidence in the literature that backs up what we promote as the proper, or the the overarching mineral deficiencies in the body and the overall overarching mineral excesses in the body. And this is when you start to see these patterns, you'll start to understand why we are able to help fix people with such diverse conditions, because these are the general patterns out there and they can just show up as different problems depending upon, your genetics. It can be the deficiencies you have, which ones are worse and which ones are less. It can be because, okay, you don't need to see the folder, anybody. You have access to the doc. That's what you get. So anyway, okay. The patterns. Lots of people think certain minerals are good and you need more of them. Like, I don't know, the whole LMNT electrolyte thing where they're pumping like a gram of sodium into you for your electrolytes. Just most people eat plenty of salt in food. Okay. And then there's the people who think you need more calcium. Oh boy, wasn't that a big thing? Well, wait, let's go over what they find in this long coof and fibromyalgia. What are the patterns that they're finding? And what are the minerals that undoes this? Okay. In a 2021 review article on the pathophysiology, the biochemical cause of, I'm just going to call it fibro, we postulated that hypoperfusion and ischemia, so that's not enough blood flow, not enough oxygen, can result in excessive sodium and calcium overload. In skeletal muscles of fibro patients to cause mitochondrial damage. Oh, you mitochondria nerds are going to have fun with this one. Since then, experimental evidence has been provided that supports this concept. Okay, so let me just go over something that we do here. You have a sodium-potassium pump that brings sodium and potassium in and out of your cells. You want more potassium in the cell. You want sodium outside and potassium in, and then they switch, right? That they do the switching all day long, okay? Well, let's go over this then. So what is the counteracting mineral to calcium? Oh, it's magnesium. Do you guys remember what the two minerals are that I tell you that if you fix these will be the fastest way to improve how you feel? Which two minerals? Magnesium, specifically topical magnesium, especially in our lotion. Okay, our magnesium lotion is amazing. It's like the most potent out there, and it works, and people feel it, and that's why they love it, and that's why we sell a lot of it, because it's amazing. Okay. Potassium. Now, you can get this from food. You can get it from, supplements if you choose to. You can get it from 50/50 salt that we talk about here. You can get it all sorts of ways. Most people are getting twice as much sodium as they get potassium. And they're tired, like chronic fatigue tired. Okay, I'm going to tell you that you want to flip that balance. You want to get twice as much potassium as you do sodium. You got the element people out there saying that people don't get enough sodium and you got to just drink more sodium and stay salty. And I'm like, yeah, the problem with America has always been a lack of sodium. Definitely. Like sodium in food is not the same thing as sodium in an aluminum can or in a powdered packet. Give me a break. So this paper is saying that there's too much calcium and too much sodium stuck in the wrong places. Let's see. An MRI study showed that intracellular sodium in muscles of ME/fibro patients is elevated. Wait, that's not good. And that levels correlate inversely with HGS, hand grip strength, right here. Okay, so the more sodium in the cells, the weaker your grip strength. But wait, didn't nickel weakened grip strength too, and PEA improved grip strength? Huh, that's crazy. This finding corroborates or backs up our concept of sodium and consecutive calcium overload as a cause of muscular and mitochondrial damage caused by enhanced proton-sodium exchange due to anaerobic metabolism, because there's not enough oxygen in blood, like they said earlier, and diminished activity of the sodium potassium ATPase. The histological, that's where they're actually looking at the tissues, like microscopically. Investigations in fibro exclude ischemia by microvascular obstruction. So they've said it's not a lack of oxygen and blood flow because the blood vessels aren't carrying the blood. It's not viral presence, viruses, or immune myositis, or immune inflammation of the muscle, like autoimmunity. The only known exercise-induced mechanism of damage left is sodium-induced calcium overload. If ionic disturbance and mitochondrial dysfunction is severe enough, the patient may be captured in a vicious circle. This energy deficit is the most likely cause of exertional intolerance. You know how fibro people can't tolerate exercise? Many of you out there who are trying to get better, you don't tolerate exercise? And post-exertional malaise, like when people get, as we say, get their butt kicked by doing too much, and is further aggravated by exertion. So again, they're saying it's not blood vessels causing the problem, it's not viruses, and it's not autoimmunity. It's that they've got too much sodium in their cells, and the sodium is actually then causing the calcium overload. So I'm not saying to not eat salt. You do need salt. You do need some amount of calcium. But what do we fix in people? We fix calcium dysregulation. When they get too much calcium where it's not supposed to be, and they don't have enough calcium where it is supposed to be. Now, let me tell you two fat-soluble vitamins that tend to, in the body, we've been over this before, increase calcium just about everywhere, and either decrease potassium or block potassium channels. One of them you might know as rat bait poison. The other term for this compound is cholecalciferol. Another term for this compound is vitamin D3. Then we have vitamin A. Vitamin A blocks potassium channels and yanks calcium out of your bones to put it in the blood. So it raises calcium in the blood, which is not where you want it. You want it in the bones, and then your body to get it out of the blood, whether it's from vitamin D, which if you look in the research enough, vitamin D takes the calcium out of your bones too. It's called bone resorption. Vitamin D does this. You can look it up. Bone resorption, vitamin D. So you have vitamin D and vitamin A taking calcium out of your bones. It goes into your blood, and your body cannot handle high calcium in the blood very long, or else it would mess up your heart and your brain, and it has to shove it into the soft tissues. That's calcification. That's calcium in the wrong places. And both of those negatively affected your potassium balance. And then too much calcium in the blood depletes magnesium. Are you following yet? So again, we fix your potassium intake. We have you don't not do excessive amounts of sodium. Still do sodium. You get the right amount of potassium. People start feeling more energy and better moods. And then you get the right amount of magnesium, and you definitely don't overdo the calcium. And the magnesium can start decalcifying you. It's literally in the research. And then we get our vitamin D. How do we fix our vitamin D metabolism? I'm going to remind you. Low vitamin A diet and a low nickel diet. You're going to get sunlight or ultraviolet light somehow, however you choose. You're going to a person who is working with me is not going to take vitamin D supplements. They're going to get their topical magnesium. More is better than less. They're going to correct their zinc deficiency. They're going to make sure they're not protein deficient. They're going to get the right amount of calcium for them. In my experience, that's 500 milligrams or less will keep people doing quite well. And then we have, if their symptoms show that they need it, vitamin K. And then we fix that whole metabolism, and we get the calcium going where it's supposed to go, and we have enough magnesium, and we're not blocking potassium or depleting potassium, and then we're, all the things that we do. So let me go find, where were we at? Joe mentioned, what about kidney patients asked to reduce potassium? What ruins kidneys? Is it potassium or is it nickel, vitamin A, these other things? So I'm not okay. Look, kidney patient. If you're a kidney patient out there, I'm not telling kidney patients to go and do more potassium. If your doctor told you not to, like, you need potassium to live. You literally need potassium to live. So if you have a kidney problem and they're telling you don't eat potassium, wow, you follow completely that advice, you might get the results of you kind of need potassium to live. So if you don't get much. However, your kidneys are under stress. So what is the best thing you can do to reduce the stress on your kidneys? We've already had multiple people who have had severe chronic kidney disease go on a low vitamin A diet and completely reverse it. So what would your first thing be? Well, oh wait, I told you vitamin A blocks potassium channels. So we remove the blocker. That's what we do. Okay. Here we go. Let me just hit on this one. Intracellular sodium in skeletal muscle is elevated. This is what they saw on MRI, and negatively correlates with hand grip strength in a 23 sodium MRI. So they marked it with an isotope study in resting or exercising muscle, depending upon muscle type. The rise in intracellular sodium is a precondition for damaging calcium overload. So again, it's not no sodium. It's not, I don't even say low sodium, but I'll put it to you this way out there. If somebody says, how do I know if I'm eating too much sodium? If other people tell you that your food is too salty, like multiple people, or they're kind of like, could you like salt your food separately because you put way too much on mine and that this comes up a lot? Or if you're constantly thirsty after meals and you feel kind of dehydrated, you're probably eating too much salt. But 2,500 milligrams would be a good, the normal recommendations, these are approximate, 2,500 milligrams of sodium in a day, 5,000 milligrams of potassium in a day. The Institute of Medicine recommends 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day. Most people probably get 3,000 of sodium and 1,200 to 1,500 of potassium. They wonder why they're tired. Okay, so fix your potassium intake. Let's go find the next one. I think we've hit these pretty well. Basically, you guys can look at this if you want. I think we've hit it enough. Basically, they're showing that in fibro and in post-COOF that there's too much calcium. Calcium overload occurs as a consequence of excessive sodium loading. It's just that the pathways, the enzymes are not moving the sodium and potassium properly. They get too much sodium, and then the sodium drags on the calcium. Sorry, and the calcium goes in. So anyway, so this is the pattern of too much calcium in the wrong place, too much sodium in the wrong place. Okay, so let's go on to some of the other ones. Okay, one of the things that we talk constantly about it was brought up on one of my comments the other day about, bioavailable calcium or copper. Bioavailable copper is so important, and people just don't understand that the free copper is the bad one and the bioavailable's not. And I'm like, it's nonsense created by an ex-hospital administrator, so it might be a psyop, who is aging about as well as a ghoul would. So you want to believe that guy who's aging and looking terrible, like worse all the time? I mean, you can. I'm not going to say any names. But if you're looking to root cause things, you might find him. Okay, here's the paper. High serum copper and copper-zinc ratios correlate with impairments in bone density, physical performance, and overall health in a population of elderly men with frailty characteristics. So high copper and not enough zinc to copper correlating with weak bones, weak strength, bad health. Now, there's going to be the copper apologists who are going to be like, oh, no, the copper's going up to protect them. Oh my goodness. If you actually still believe this, you're in for a rough time. Why? How people believe this. They're like, oh, the zinc is going down to protect them, but they're getting worse. Okay. So, what do we have here? Serum copper levels rise with age. Aging's associated with feeling better or worse, generally? Worse. And high copper zinc ratios are linked with multiple cause mortality in the elderly. So, they've got more copper, less zinc. Copper levels are going up. Zinc levels are not going up with the copper, linked with multiple causes of death. The copper's protecting them. Like, seriously. Oh, it's not bioavailable copper. They looked for relationships between serum copper levels and the copper zinc ratio with specific measures of bone, physical, and overall health in a cohort of 144 frail elderly men. Okay, I'm going to tell you something like this is undertypes. We're talking about undertypes. Undertypes, generally underweight, right? They would be frail, are worse off in the liver than overtypes. Overtypes tend to be overweight. Okay. So this is like undertypes. And yeah, you don't want to be in this. This is where most people get as they age. Now, I'm going to say, ladies, you're better at making body fat. And so with excess copper, which I've shown is associated with excess body fat, and so is nickel, you're probably ladies are going to definitely go more overtypes than men do. If you're an underweight woman, like you probably already know, well, underweight men and underweight women, you guys already know that your health is really rough. And you're probably generally very, very sensitive to things. So we do help people fix that. Okay, what'd they find? We found significant correlations between high copper to zinc ratios and deficits in the femur, the big leg bone mineral density, measures of speed and strength. So they were weaker and slower. Muscle mass, they had less muscle mass, and hematocrit. They were tending more towards anemia. But you need copper for making blood. Okay. High copper and zinc ratios were also correlated with decreased triglycerides. So undertypes tend to go low on their blood test. Tend to. Okay. Before anybody goes, well, but not all my blood tests are low. You understand the word tend, T-E-N-D? You might need to look it up. Tendency. That doesn't mean always, okay? High copper to zinc ratios were correlated with decreased triglycerides and increased reliance on ADL assistance. That's activities of daily life. Less zinc, more copper. They can't do as much stuff for themselves. This study identifies specific deficits associated with high copper to zinc ratios that span multiple organ systems. What's the driver, though? The liver. And supports earlier studies indicating that serum copper levels in the copper-zinc ratio may serve as useful predictive biomarkers for poor health in the elderly. Gosh, we could look at copper and zinc in the blood and predict how messed up they're going to be as they age. Okay, let's keep going. So that's copper. So we generally work on bringing down copper. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're a type that has low copper, that's worse than high copper, unless you earned the low copper. If you earned the low copper through like a low vitamin A diet and a low nickel diet and a low copper diet, and you eventually got your copper down, you're probably noticing that you feel really good. But if you are sick and you're in the early stages of this, or you're just finding this, and you know you have low copper already, and especially if you're underweight, you have a bigger problem than somebody with high copper. This is the same thing with vitamin A. When we have people who come to us with low vitamin A, they're more messed up than the people who come to us with high vitamin A. This is the undertype. The tendency of an undertype is to be underweight and to have sometimes low levels of things like vitamin A and copper. Okay. So let's go into this one, association. So one of the biggest things we deal with, okay, so let me clarify again here. A lot of you undertypes might be going, and I've been over this before. Everybody says I'm just so lucky to not be fat. They're like, you should be happy you're skinny. And yet you undertypes are just desperately trying to gain some weight. You're shoving food down. Like I've had undertypes shoving down 5,000 calories a day to gain 2 pounds. Could you imagine that? That's a lot of work. So they're shoving down all this food. They're hardly gaining weight and they don't feel good. But everybody's like, at least you're not fat, right? So there's not a lot of research on undertypes, right? Because like when they talk about obesity will send you to the grave early. Nobody talks about the research that underweight people, chronically underweight people actually die sooner than morbidly obese people. Okay, it's in the research. So the grass is not always greener, okay? So anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm one of the few people out there who talks about both. We fix both very much the same way. Yes, undertypes may need a bit more fat, added fat in their diet to keep their weight on, because we definitely don't want them losing weight. But as they get better, they'll start gaining good weight. And then as we get overweight people less toxic, then they often start losing weight. And they feel a lot more like exercising and all this. Both types feel more like exercising. So when I'm talking about here, I'm talking about the major patterns. The major patterns are high calcium, high copper. There's going to be too much nickel in just about everybody. The main pattern is high ferritin. So we're talking about overtypes here. Most people are overweight, right? So we see high copper, high vitamin A, high iron, high nickel. That's the main pattern. So I'm going by the main patterns here, okay? Association between body iron status and biological aging. Studies of leukocyte telomere length suggest blood iron levels are positively associated with cellular senescence and accelerated aging. More iron in the blood, accelerated aging. In adjusted models, a 1 standard deviation increase in serum ferritin was positively associated with higher standardized levels of these things they measured to show aging. Dunedin pace, Grim Age Excel, and Pheno Age Excel. Okay. Conclusions. The positive association with ferritin is consistent with the proposed role of oxidative stress and accelerated aging associated with high iron exposure. Okay, so rust. Iron rusts. It oxidizes. So then it puts more stress on you. So now imagine, now I'm not saying to eat a bunch of antioxidants, but imagine if you got too much nickel. Nickel oxidizes stuff like crazy. Oh, you got too much copper. Copper oxidizes stuff like crazy. You ever seen copper rust? Like the turquoise bluish color on copper? That's what I call copper rust. And then there's iron rust. So you got all these things in you that are basically rusting, oxidizing. And then your liver, what we want you to do is to have your liver able to make glutathione and superoxide dismutases and do the other things to protect you with its own antioxidants, rather than you eating a ton of antioxidants from plants, which then slow down your natural detox pathways like ADH and ALDH. So let me see. Was there anything else in this paper? Nope, that's it. So bringing ferritin down is very important. Oh, Joe says my new computer's working well. That's great. I mean, I'm on a new computer. That's why things have been weird the last couple of weeks. I bought a new computer, and then the new computer couldn't do what it was supposed to do. That's why it might have been glitching last week. And so I returned that, and then I got a new computer. I had to spend about twice as much. I was not very happy, but I upgraded the RAM a bit already, and it's Joe says it's doing good. So we're happy about that. Okay, so now another mineral, 2 other minerals that we talk about a lot. Let me make this bigger. Serum conso zinc and selenium, two of the minerals in Keystone Minerals. Keystone Minerals is one of might be our most popular capsule supplement. I don't know, lactoferrin maybe. People love lactoferrin. Keystone Minerals is out there. There's Keystone Minerals plus niacin, so you get your flush niacin to run your detox system. we make a lot of good things. So serum concentrations of zinc and selenium in elderly people results in healthy nonagenarians, centenarians. Those are 90-year-olds. Trace elements such as zinc and selenium play an important role in maintaining the metabolic homeostasis in elderly people, and the risk of deficiency seems to increase in proportion to their age. Zinc and selenium concentrations as indices of the micronutrient status in healthy subjects over 90 years are scarcely analyzed and could represent a model for studying the physiology of successful aging. Our aim was to investigate zinc and selenium concentrations in the healthy persons over the age of 90 years. Now, again, in the research, they'll be like, oh, zinc's an antioxidant. Oh, selenium's an antioxidant. That's not why we're taking it. Okay. Just forget the whole antioxidant thing. Don't try to force antioxidants down. You want to get the right minerals and you want to avoid the proper toxic things. And then your body fixes stuff. So what'd they find? A significant decrease of selenium and zinc values was demonstrated in Group A when compared with Group B in both males and females. Well, what's Group A? 90 non-institutionalized 90 to 110-year-old people versus 62 elderly subjects, 60 to 90 years. Okay? So they found a pattern that zinc and selenium were going down as people got older. Wait, what happened with ferritin? What happened with copper? Oh, and if you didn't know, vitamin A goes up with age too. Serum retinol goes up with age too. What do we fight against? What do we promote? So, however, even though they said they saw a general decrease, a decreased trend as people got older, but what did they see? 84.4% of the healthy nonagenarians, centenarians, had both zinc and selenium concentrations equal to or greater than the lowest values of the elderly group. And only 3.3% of those cases showed zinc and selenium deficiency. So the people who were doing the best, the healthy ones, were doing as well as the 91 to 110-year-old folks were doing as well as the worst of the 60 to 90-year-olds. Consequently, a prospective and follow-up evaluation of zinc and selenium could be proposed as a good index for the correct monitoring of the micronutrient deficiencies that could represent an early sign of disease. Why not just give them zinc and selenium? Or you could have somebody out there writing articles that selenium is bad. Selenium's bad. It could be why you're not feeling good because you're taking selenium supplements. Okay. Good article. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. So let's go into this one. Main biomarkers associated with age-related plasma zinc decrease. As they got older, their zinc went down. And their copper-zinc ratio in healthy elderly from the zinc age study. Zinc plays an essential role in many biological processes, including immune response. Impaired zinc status promotes immune dysfunction, and it has been associated with enhanced chronic inflammation during aging. We investigated the association between zinc levels and some biomarkers in basically 1,100 healthy elderly from 5 European countries to increase the accuracy in the assessment of the zinc status. Plasma zinc decrement going down was most strongly predicted by age. Now, it's going to get better because they don't want people to take supplements and figure it out. Pay attention to this. It suggests that, copper to zinc ratio was positively associated with markers of systemic inflammation and age, and negatively associated with albumin serum levels. Copper zinc ratio goes up. Markers of systemic inflammation went up. Copper zinc ratio went up with age. They suggest that the decline of age with age of zinc of circulating levels is more dependent on physiopathological changes occurring with aging rather than to its nutritional intake. The apologetics, they're going to say, oh, no, it's not just that they're not eating enough meat or anything. It's that aging is causing their zinc deficiency. Getting older and getting diseases is causing them to get zinc deficient. Now, what happens as they're getting older? They're accumulating more toxins that are anti-zinc. Oh, wait, copper's anti-zinc? Copper goes up with age? Copper-zinc ratio going up was associated with more inflammation? Maybe it's the copper rising. Oh, wait, nickel's also a zinc antagonist. Nickel goes up with age. Vitamin A goes up with age, and you need zinc to detox vitamin A. Have you seen the patterns yet? So we're just fighting the toxicity as it goes up. Okay, now that's all the mineral studies for today. Now I just want to show you how crazy the let me see if I can get into here and not have it. I'm not a robot. I'm human. Okay. So this paper, this is on Sci-Hub. Can't find it anywhere else. Allergic contact dermatitis due to nickel in a neoprene wetsuit. The purpose of a system is what it does. Vitamin A going up with age, copper going up with age, ferritin going up with age, nickel going up with age, all these other toxins going up with age. And then we have zinc going down with age and selenium going down with age. And I don't even think they did molybdenum as a study. I bet you could find potassium generally going down with age. And I bet you could find magnesium going down with age, but I didn't look up those because I already had enough for today. Why is there nickel in a neoprene wetsuit? Why? A very tightly fitting piece of clothing. Okay, so here we have, she got a 31-year-old woman relapsing eczema on her limbs, especially the wrists, neck, and thorax after wearing a wetsuit for water sport. They tested her. She had a reaction to nickel sulfate. A closed patch test. So they covered it up. They put it on and they covered it up with a 1 by 1 centimeter. 1 by 1 centimeter. It's that big. Showed a very, very high reaction. A dimethylglyoxine test. That's the stuff that you can get a Q-tip and drip it on there and rub it on things and it turns pink if there's nickel there. So it gave an uncertain result due to the running of the dyes, but atomic absorption analysis confirmed a high concentration of nickel, higher in the wristbands than elsewhere. A few months later, the patient wore a new wetsuit made from neoprene covered by thick pink and violet fabric without any relapse. She was protected. Atomic absorption analysis of the sample of this new wetsuit showed a slightly lower amount of nickel than the original black wetsuit. When the patient was re-exposed to her old wetsuit, dermatitis recurred. It came back. Okay, so thanks to David Hagerston for finding this. So the dermatitis was worse at the wrists, where the neoprene wetsuit had no covering fabric, while no dermatitis was observed with the new wetsuit that had a thick covering fabric. Why is there nickel in neoprene? Weird. The purpose of a system is what it does. If everybody's getting poisoned and everybody's deficient, that's the purpose of the system. Oh, no, it's just an accident. Nobody knows. No, there's people who know. Because how am I able to go through the research and find this stuff then? I thought this was interesting. I was talking to somebody who was getting radiation treatments for colon cancer. And they wanted to know how nickel interacted with it. Toxicological interactions between nickel and a conductive metal, so it's electric, if you will, and a ferromagnetic mineral, so it's magnetic, between nickel and radiation on chromosome damage and repair. This one's pretty simple. Our data suggests that pre-treatment with nickel, so if somebody had nickel toxicity and then they go and they get radiation exposure, interferes with the repair of radiation-induced DNA damage and potentially causes mistakes in DNA repair. Well, that'd be weird if radiation caused cancer. If people are getting more and more nickel toxic and cancer's going up, and you're always going to be exposed to some form of radiation out there. Anyway, yeah, nickel's bad. That's all I need to say about that. Nickel makes everything worse. Now we get into the magic vitamin A paper, literally. This is just going to be a study in conflicts of interest and how companies are lying through their teeth. And so you understand, when you see particularly Chinese research, how shady it is. Okay? The anti-aging potential of vitamin A's new derivatives through metabolomic profiling. This study aims to evaluate the potential biological functions of literally magic vitamin A, MVA, in skin health management and skin aging through the metabolomics analysis. Oh, first, I need to thank Kelsey for finding this paper, bringing it to my attention. So remember, it's magic vitamin A. Magic's real, right? Or is it only real to certain people who believe in certain things? Okay. This suggests that magic vitamin A treatment substantially alters the cellular metabolic state. Is that good or bad? Wait until you find out what it is. The box plot analysis indicates that magic vitamin A altered the levels of several metabolites, including 18-beta glyceretinic acid. This is not made in the human body. This is a derivative of glycyrrhizin from licorice. Oh, wait, it increased palmitoyl ethanolamide production. 17-AAG, L-arginine, and dehydroepiandrosterone, DHEA, all of which exhibit significant biological effects in anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant properties. Okay, so if you give somebody something that increases their body's production of anti-inflammatory compounds like PEA, do you think it's doing a good thing, or do you think the body is saying, oh, crap, here comes poison? Yeah. Let's keep going. Let me see. Where was it? What I wanted to find. Now I'm going to have to go with what Kelsey told me here. Let me see. All trans. Nope. Kelsey, I forgot to finish looking for this. Kelsey told me that this was basically their magic vitamin A. Was two tretinoin molecules bound together. Okay. So one tretinoin, or all trans retinoic acid, was bad enough that they had to stop a study on veterans because it killed too many of them. I'll go over that. So then they thought, let's put two together. This will be good. But I forgot to check on the structure first. Okay, let's review. First they're going to pump it all up, and then they're going to, let's review how bad vitamin A is for you. However, the use of retinoids faces several challenges. And we're going to get into Asians and their ALDH levels, because 50% of the Asian population has genetically low ALDH. Retinoic acid, also known as tretinoin or retin A, is the metabolically active form of vitamin A responsible for its ultimate biological effects. So again, folks, they're saying vitamin A, active vitamin A, one of the forms of active vitamin A, is literally something that the pharmaceutical companies make as tretinoin, all trans retinoic acid, which also means they should not be able to patent it because it's found in your body. But yet they keep making it. Oh, but they're not going to make a profit. Why would they make it? I don't know. The purpose of a system is what it does. They're making plenty of money. And if you haven't seen my infertility psyop, on vitamin A, it's also making people infertile. Okay. So, due to this metabolically active vitamin, its potent skin irritating properties at high doses, retinoic acid is restricted to prescription use in dermatological treatments and is prohibited in cosmetic formulations. Must be dangerous. In contrast, retinol and retinol esters are the dietary forms commonly referred to as vitamin A. Retinol esters, which is retinol bound to a fatty acid ester, exhibit significantly higher tolerability on human skin than retinoic acid, making them widely used in cosmetic formulations to reduce wrinkles, fade pigmentation, and improve acne. Okay, remember, a yellow peel, a chemical peel called a yellow peel, is literally tretinoin as a peel. I find it very unappealing. No, anyway, so they literally put a yellow peel, a chemical peel, on people's faces because it's going to dissolve the several upper layers of the couple of upper layers of cells, and then it's going to stimulate your skin underneath to reproduce more skin so you don't have like a burnt face. And they'll be like, this is wonderful. A dermatologist in an article, I've been over this before, called it, they use a yellow peel to induce controlled wounds on the face. To induce controlled wounds. Does this sound like a vitamin? Okay. So retinoic acid is literally a chemical peel. So when they put retinol and retinol palmitate on the skin, which have to convert into retinoic acid, and I'm going to tell you that vitamin A gets more and more toxic the further you go down. So if you start with beta carotene, that's the least toxic. Then you go to retinol, then you go to retinaldehyde, then you go to retinoic acid. They get more toxic as they are detoxed. This is called intoxication or biotransformation. You can look it up. It's a normal thing. It's like when you drink ethanol. It's not the ethanol that gives you a hangover and gives you alcohol poisoning. It's the acetaldehyde that it turns into. That's the biggest example that most people understand about intoxication or biotransformation. So as they say here, however, exogenous retinol esters must be enzymatically converted on the skin surface into retinoic acid in order to bind to receptors or just melt your skin and exert their biological activity. This conversion is limited by enzyme activity, local delivery, and stability, resulting in reduced efficacy, even though retinol esters are generally better tolerated by the skin. So, you want to know why they'd be better tolerated, especially in Asians, is because Asians, 50% of the Asian population has slow ALDH. ALDH is what turns retinaldehyde into retinoic acid. Wait, wasn't retinoic acid potent skin irritating? So if they're slow at converting retinol into retinaldehyde, and they're very slow in converting retinaldehyde into retinoic acid, they would have less potent skin irritation, right? That's just the biochemistry here, the pathways. Okay. Improper or excessive use of topical retinol, see, it's all still bad, may result in potential side effects such as dryness, redness, and peeling of the skin, which can cause discomfort. So it's still bad. It's just not potently skin irritating. Studies have shown that Chinese individuals exhibit heightened sensitivity to irritation reactions caused by retinol and retinoid treatments compared to Caucasians, because it's getting stuck there. Remember what I just told you? The ALDH doesn't convert it to retinoic acid, so it gets stuck on this side of it. Relative to Caucasians. They don't mean every Asian, and they don't mean every Caucasian. They mean most. This sensitivity manifests as erythema, desquamation, dryness, and elevated transepidermal water loss. We went over that with PEA. PEA helped reduce transepidermal water loss. Wait, so why, when the body's exposed to tretinoin or magic vitamin A, does it make more PEA? Are you following? Leading to temporary disruption of the skin barrier. These effects render conventional retinol treatments less suitable for Chinese individuals. There are other retinol-based compounds available in the market. Remember this one, such as hydroxypinacolone retinoate. Just remember HPR. However, these compounds have certain drawbacks, such as reduced efficacy and other disadvantages. You know, you got to balance out, does it help your skin or does it melt your face, I guess? Does it ruin your fertility for your entire life or give you GERD for 20 years like my other person? The magic vitamin A derivatives were designed. Now, here's where we get into this. They were designed and synthesized by Coach Kim. Remember Coach Kim. It's going to be very important. Okay. Let's keep going. So they have, here's the MVA structure. I'll have to look that up. And here's the ISO MVA, but it's magic vitamin A. Oh, this is what I wanted to go over here while we're here. Cell viability. Let's go into this one. Share this tab instead. Let's go. So we have retinol is the RET, HPR is the hydroxypinacolone retinoid or whatever, and then we have MVA and ISO MVA. This is cell viability. This is whether the cells can survive. So it's a cell study. So it's generally not going to show how things function in the human body. Which were the worst? Cell viability, the lowest cell viability of all they looked at. Oh, wait, it's the magic vitamin A and the ISO magic vitamin A. As I just told you, the further along in the detox process vitamin A goes, the more toxic it gets. Hey, red and pink lines there, okay? Lower cell viability. That means the cells don't function as well and they die quicker, basically, okay? They don't work right. Then they'll be like, oh, this difference isn't significant. I'm like, I think it gets significant in the real world, in real bodies. So let me go back here. We'll go here. We should be back. Okay. So let's keep going. So remember Coach Kim. Author contributions. These names right here. JW. So these are the names of the authors. These are their initials. So JW, WZ, AG, BZ, TH, DZ. Okay. 6 of the 14 authors, especially this guy writing the original draft. Just remember JW. Okay. Competing interests. The authors declare no competing interests. So they made sure to mention that magic vitamin A was made by Coach Kim. Footnotes. Li Tan and Zhang Wu contributed equally to this work. Wait, let's go back up here. Zhang Wu wrote the original draft. Let's keep going. Contributor information. Zhang Wu. Email johnnywu@coachkim.com. Is it like what? Farming While Beige? coachkim.com. www. He's hilarious. If you haven't seen Farming While Beige on YouTube, he's hilarious. Anyway. So the main author, the guy who wrote the original draft, he literally works for Coach Kim, yet there's no competing interests. Are you seeing, like they literally told you in here that this is a fraudulent paper. They're literally lying to you. And they're going to tell you that vitamin A is wonderful and it's good for you and you need it. So that was a fun one. So thanks for sharing that one, Kelsey. Didn't think I'd find the conflict of interest so blatantly appalling. Okay, so while we're on tretinoin, I want to remind you guys. I want to remind you that the mainstream will keep saying that vitamin A is good for things. Okay, so what about tretinoin, which is part of the magic vitamin A? Tretinoin, the prevention of keratinocyte carcinoma, basal and squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. a Veteran Affairs randomized chemo prevention trial. Now, this is the same. This is where they gave Retin-A cream to vets. The folks who served the country because they thought it would prevent skin cancer. Because there's this myth that vitamin A prevents cancer. What'd they find? Keratinocyte carcinoma is the most common cancer in the United States with no proven means for prevention other than systemic retinoids, which have significant toxicity and sunscreen. Gosh, who do you think wrote this paper? Topical tretinoin has been used for KC chemo prevention, right? Using toxins or drugs to supposedly prevent cancer. So it's been used for this, although this use is unproven. Hence, we conducted the randomized Veterans Affairs topical tretinoin chemo prevention trial of high-dose topical tretinoin for KC prevention. We randomized 1,100, just remember that number, 1131. Patients to topical 0.1% tretinoin. Wow, that's not very much now, is it? Or a matching vehicle control for 1.5 to 5.5 years. The primary outcomes were time to development of new basal cell carcinoma and new invasive squamous cell carcinoma on the face or ears. So they're just putting it all over their face. Did it work? No differences were observed in any cancer-related endpoints or in actinic keratosis counts. The only quality of life difference was worse symptoms in the tretinoin group at 12 months after randomization. If you're going to come on this channel and ask me, should I stop using Retin-A? Yes, you should. Here's a quality of life problem. You're going to get sick. This trial in high-risk patients demonstrates that high-dose topical tretinoin is ineffective at reducing the risk of cases. It doesn't reduce basal cell carcinoma, and it doesn't reduce squamous cell carcinoma. But wait, will it kill you early? Yes, it will. This is the same study. Topical tretinoin therapy and all-cause mortality. The risk of death from all causes. The setting, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Medical Centers. Patients, a total of 1,131. Wow. Veterans were randomized. Their mean age was 71 years. Patients with a very high estimated short-term risk of death were excluded. They already took out the people who were at a high risk of death. They already took them out of the study. What happened next? They applied tretinoin, 0.1%, or vehicle control cream twice daily to the face or ears. The main outcome measures when they re-examined this: death, which was not contemplated as an endpoint in the original study design. Results: the intervention was terminated 6 months early because of an excessive number of deaths in the tretinoin-treated group. We observed an association of topical tretinoin therapy with death. So not only did they see reduced quality of life because their health got worse, but they literally died earlier. Oh, but this Chinese Coach Kim group says, use a magic vitamin A. It's very good for you. Serious. We don't work for them, no. So that's okay. That's all the research studies. So we've now gone through all of these. So now we get to go through the evidence of, does what we do work? So those of you, well, so Joe, we're going to make it so we could do a cut here if we decide to do just a testimonials video. But so what we're going to go into now, those of you who have been on this channel before, I'm going to go through testimonials. We have 7 of them. So if you don't want to listen to testimonials, oh, wait, actually, no, wait, I'm sorry. Let me get to that super chat. There is a super chat that somebody sent me over email. So if you guys, okay, if you guys ever have a super chat and you can't make the live stream to do the live chat, okay? If you can't make the live stream and do the live chat and you want to send a super chat to make sure it gets answered, like this lady did, okay? Send it to Julie or Ashley, admin@nutritiondetective.com, and she'll send you an invoice for whatever super chat you want to donate. and then I'm going to do it. So here we go. So let me find this again. Okay. Actually, Joe, I can't show it on here, but I'm just gonna read the question. So if you want to just show me, Joe, I'm gonna read it aloud. My question is perhaps both very useful generally, but also particular to my situation. I am someone who travels a lot for work, and thus keeping the diet at 100% is not always very easy, especially because I live in Italy. I am also an under type, and it is very important that I eat no matter what, even if it is off the diet a little bit. Yes. Obviously, when I can, I minimize vitamin A, copper, and nickel. Good. But if I had to make the choice between just one, I always choose to minimize vitamin A as I am an Accutane survivor. Oh, wait, that's 13-cis-retinoic acid. That's another very irritating vitamin A retinoic acid compound that ruins fertility and ruins health and ruins lives. So yes, if you're an Accutane survivor, you're in the right place. Anyway, so she's choosing to, she knows she's got an issue with Accutane, isotretinoin, 13-cis-retinoic acid, which I don't know if you've seen, but nickel. When people started Accutane, there's case studies in the literature when they started Accutane, they got nickel sensitivity. The more toxic you are, the slower your detox goes. Nickel slows vitamin A detox. So imagine somebody's already wearing nickel on their body, and then they add Accutane to it, and then they've already slowed down their vitamin A detox. They add Accutane, and then all of a sudden they get more sensitive to the nickel because they're just more toxic all over. They're not getting rid of anything very well. Okay, so I would still put nickel up there, but if you feel like the biggest thing that you can do for one thing is vitamin A, okay, that's going to be your experience. So you need to know what you prioritize the most. Okay. This seems to be the most key thing for me, is what she's saying. Yes. That being said, given these things and being that I travel a lot and it is hard to always take every single supplement with me, what would be the absolute minimum supplement setup? I was thinking Keystone Minerals, Sun Fiber, and Charcoal, but open to additions and detractions and all other ideas. Okay. So, I mean, so the absolute minimum supplement setup, it all depends on, what's minimum. Do we put a limit on it? Are we going to say what 3 things? What's the one most important thing? What are the 10 most important things? So the minimum is, without a hard guideline, it's kind of hard to say. I would say, what do I'd probably, to cover the most bases, Keystone Minerals plus niacin. That would be just standard. I take that everywhere I go. Okay. I would take Keystone Minerals plus niacin. And you want to bind, and then you want your good minerals to run the whole system. I would take the binder that you find the most helpful, whatever binder that is. So Pectaclear travels the easiest because it's not a powder. You don't have to mix it up in like plastic cups or coffee cups in your hotel room. So Pectaclear being capsules and just being easy to take, that's what I would do. So I would do a binder, I would do the minerals, and then we get into, okay, so if you're doing a low nickel diet and a low vitamin A diet, I understand, you're going to prioritize vitamin A over low nickel if you have to. So sun fiber is if you notice that sun fiber really helps your bowel movements. Because folks, there's research on sun fiber helping with constipation. There's research on sun fiber helping with loose bowels, diarrhea. If you have bowel issues, which often happens on traveling, right? So if you know that your bowels and traveling don't get along, and sun fiber helps you poop better, whether it's helping have less loose bowels or having less constipation, then you might do that. You may want to take, if you do tend to get really constipated, you might even want to take some magnesium pills with you. That would be an option. So yeah, if you're trying to do low nickel, there's not going to be a lot of fiber options when you're going out to eat. So sun fiber might be very good for you. I would personally, you asked about charcoal. You might want to take charcoal with you just as an emergency, like if you think you get some food poisoning or if you want to take a second binder. But if you do PECTaclear, you're covering the MCP, which gets in your blood, and then you're also getting alginate, which is literally a fiber that absorbs nickel really well, and it stays in your gut. So the alginate, if you guys look it up, alginate is a soluble fiber. So with the PECTaclear, you're getting modified citrus pectin, which is a soluble fiber, but it can get inside your bloodstream, and you're getting alginate, which is also a soluble fiber. And then you're getting a binder. Sun fiber is not a great binder. It's not a binder per se. It's food for your gut bacteria. So you're going to have to kind of weigh, how do these things help you? And if you're finding it hard to avoid nickel on your work trips, but you can avoid vitamin A, then you might want to prioritize the PECTaclear or the sodium alginate, potassium alginate, Pectasol, whatever, to grab onto more nickel if you're going to be eating it. See, charcoal's not great at grabbing onto nickel. Charcoal grabs onto all sorts of stuff. And like if I have charcoal around, it's always going in my detox sludge. It's easy. And I can take like a tablespoon at a time and it doesn't make me constipated. If it makes you constipated, then you got other issues. Okay. So we got Keystone plus niacin. I mean, you can decide if you don't want to do the niacin version, you can just do the regular version, but I would always want a bit of niacin going on. Then we got whatever binder you want, which you could cover the soluble fiber bases and the binder with something like PECTaclear or Pectasol and the alginates. And then we would have, so a lot of times when people go traveling, they have trouble sleeping. So I would then probably either do the magnesium lotion or a potassium supplement if that really helps you to have better energy and sleep better and all that stuff. I would pick one of those two electrolytes. If you can do both, that's great. But if you had to pick one, I would go with the one that helps you more. So, yeah. I think your short list was pretty good. I think it could be improved a bit. But, yeah, if we just, that's what I'd pick. If I had to only pick 3 things, that's how I'd pick it. Okay? So, thank you for that super chat. Okay, now let's get back to the testimonials. Okay. Joe, you can show it whenever you're ready. So here we go. Testimonial number 1. FYI, I've been low nickel for 2 months. Ground beef, chicken, white rice, apples, bananas, and dates. And had a dental crown replaced on the lower right side. Okay, moving in the right direction. I bet he had some detox after that. Most of the ashy, dry, and irritated skin around my large knuckle where the metacarpal and proximal joint come together has cleared up. Maybe 2/3 better. The skin is no longer tight and slightly painful. There has been less of an itch at the top of my head, and my bottom lower lip that has been chronically chapped for what seems to be 20 years, like my knuckles, is about 2/3 better. Let me add to this before I go further that I had what they called psoriasis on my knuckles, and I had dandruff forever. So I was doing stuff out of my, what I'm saying is I was detoxing out of the same areas as this gentleman was. Okay. Yeah, so let's keep going. Even the niacin salve, the zinc and niacin salve, which is an amazing product, but it didn't do much to tame the chap lift. We have several testimonials to the zinc and niacin salve, so hold on. So yesterday, I decided to have 1 meal of ground beef, white beans, that's a nickel problem, barley, I'm assuming you meant barley here, and oatmeal, all mixed together with 50-50 salt and a teaspoon of MSG. Okay, so we got beans, barley, and oats. And I'm assuming it wasn't pearled barley. Pearled barley, if you guys didn't know, pearled barley is a refined grain. Pearled barley is okay on low nickel. It's white. It's literally white. Okay. The other barley, pearled barley, if you want to do barley, is okay on low nickel. If it doesn't say pearled, then don't eat it. Okay. So he had quite a bit of nickel here, most likely. This bowl of food had been, before low nickel, a consistent 2 or 3 meals a day for most of my Love Your Liver time, with the addition of MSG last year when Dr. G introduced it to the Love Your Liver program. Well, Kelsey did. I even had a scoop of ND zeolite in water immediately prior to eating. So, okay, so he had a scoop of zeolite to soak up the nickel that he knew he was about to eat. And maybe he just wanted to have this meal because he liked it. And maybe he wanted to see what would happen if he reintroduced a big old blast of nickel into his system. Well, what happened? This morning, my hands still look and feel like they have retained their improvement, having gone low nickel, and my scalp doesn't seem itchier. However, my lower lip is again chapped and flaky. Not even 24 hours. Right? So there's going to be like an order that things come back if you start putting. So if somebody says, can I just not eat, if I go low vitamin A, can I go back to eating whatever I want afterwards? I mean, you can do whatever you want. Somebody was an alcoholic and they quit drinking alcohol for 5 years and they say, can I go back and drink some alcohol? I mean, you can. Is it going to go well? Probably not. Right? So let's keep going. So the lower lip came back. It's a bit of a downer. However, I'm even more convinced my body pushes trash out through my head. I have this same thing. Oily skin around my head and neck, dark earwax, itchy scalp, flaky chapped lip, and past dental issues. So I had dandruff. I had the dark earwax. You guys have heard me talk about earwax a bunch of times. Even the stuff, the cleaning behind your ears. Oh, that's like a version of earwax. I'm sure of it now. I had that. I have a lot of sinus stuff. So I think I detox out of my head too, very much. Where you detox out of is where you'll have your most symptoms. I've been Love Your Liver for about 4.5 years. I really thought the chapped lip issue was going to clear up some time ago, along with the dark earwax, mainly in my right ear. These have been persistent issues throughout my LYLL journey. Anyway, well, now I know why my lower lip has been chronically chapped and what to do about it. Thank you, Dr. Garrett Smith. I would not have figured this out on my own, and I'm so grateful, happy, and relieved for these and other improvements not named in this post. And thank you for mentioning on a recent live stream your suspicions about the Nutricost niacin. While I've been consistently flushing on the Nutricost brand and have only been almost through one of their 250-gram containers, I'm happy to use something else and excited about what you will be discovering and revealing next. Onward and forward. Yes. Yes. Joe, I'll get to that super chat after the testimonials. So this gentleman will likely continue getting better and better and better the longer he's on low nickel. And just remember, for those of you who are in the Love Your Liver program, you want to try our niacin, which Kelsey says flushes better than anything out there, and she's had a lot of experience with it. The Niasoda, the buffered flush niacin, is only in the VIP store. So if you want to get that, there's 100 milligrams and 250 milligram pills of that. And then if you want to get the 500 milligrams of just the regular flush niacin or the 25 milligrams of flush niacin, those are in the both stores. And then if you want to get Keystone Minerals, that has Keystone Minerals plus niacin, that has 200 milligrams of niacin, flush niacin per pill, that's in both of those places too. That's what I take on a daily basis. I take the Keystone Minerals plus niacin, and then I add niacin on top of it. You don't have to do that, but that's what I do. So I always like to have the Keystone Minerals plus niacin around in case, let's say, I run out of my other flush niacin, or I just go on a trip and I want to take minimal stuff. That's why I like that. Testimonial number 2. Just wanted to share some promising experiences since starting nickel detox and the routine that's working for me. I feel like I've been at a plateau with the Love Your Liver stuff since the MSG breakthrough, but have been relatively consistent. This is what we're talking about with the nickel stuff. I knew there was something getting in the way of some people's progress. And that's why when somebody on Twitter brought up nickel, at first I resisted it, and then I was like, oh, wait, this might answer it. It's exactly what I did when I first found out about vitamin A toxicity. I was having people who were getting better, and some people still had issues. And I thought, I'm missing something. And then I found that. And then now there's the nickel thing after the low vitamin A thing. After the nickel stuff started being discussed, I decided to rework my routine around that, and it's been like a whole different experience. I just took out all the stainless steel food contact surfaces in my kitchen and started Pectaclear. Been using it for like 3 weeks now. Okay, here we go. If you jump right into nickel detox, you're begging for a butt kicking. So just know, some people are going to do it regardless of what I say. They don't believe me. You think you're tough. Okay. If you're going to be dumb, you better be tough. That's the saying. The first week was rough because I started full dose. I had low energy and had styes in both my eyes / weird rashes pop up. Detox, right? This week, I feel like a whole new person. My skin looks the best it has in like a year. Digestion is solid and energy is up. Also noticed less hair shedding. Super excited to continue this journey and starting to experiment with PEA 2. Testimonial 3. So this was starting, I guess, getting it wrong first. They're talking about back in 2023. Blood work, then an endoscopy scheduled. I gave myself 2 months to heal on my own and set myself back doing it. Apple cider vinegar on an already reflux damaged throat. I'm not putting this person down. I'm going to tell you folks, apple cider vinegar doesn't fix reflux. It might help the symptoms, but it doesn't fix anything. And yes, you are literally putting acetic acid on your damaged throat. Okay. Then betaine HCl, right? Charles Poliquin used to advise this, that you take betaine HCl pills until you get a burning sensation, right? Up in your esophagus. Following a protocol that said increase until it works. I got to 5 or 6 and burned my vocal cords. It hurt to talk and sing. If you haven't seen my GERD episode, you should watch it. Okay. The biggest cause of your reflux and your GERD is nickel toxicity. The endoscope came back, esophagitis and gastritis. So irritation, inflammation of the esophagus and the stomach. PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, acid blockers. For 60 days, did nothing. That summer was the worst of my life. Mostly the fear that this only goes one direction. If it was nickel toxicity and people didn't know that, and they continue to eat the same healthy foods, or they're using tons of stainless steel pots and pans, or they're a barber or a hairdresser touching nickel things all day with their bare hands, you know, in all these sources, wearing earrings, wearing a white gold wedding band, which I did for 20 years. Yeah. Here we go. So I tried everything: juicing, vegan, raw vegan, keto, carnivore, gut health brands, a shelf of supplements. I did improve some, mainly because I'd quit drinking, smoking, and vaping entirely. But it was slow and scattered. By early 2024, I'd call myself about 10% healed. What changed from 2024 to now? In 2024, I found a comment mentioning Dr. Smith's Love Your Liver program. I read most of the Extinguishing the Fires of Hell first, but by then I understood there was a bigger picture than vitamin A detox alone. I watched episode 71 and everything he said made logical sense after feeling confused, but dozens of doctors both I'm guessing he meant by dozens of doctors, both conventional and alternative. Even knowing a fraction of what he knows today, he'd connected the biggest dots. Toxic bile is a major driver of both toxicity and deficiency. What has helped me the most? Zinc, as in keystone minerals, fiber, ND sun fiber, and Pectaclear mainly. Eating the right diet, lactoferrin, and PEA. That's a heck of a list, man. What made the difference wasn't only what to take, it was how. Betaine HCl had already taught me what happens when you dive in head first. Dr. Smith says start low and slow, or if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough, right? You have the two sides. So I started zinc as 1 small drop of liquid picolinate. We have the liquid zinc in the store, 2 milligrams a drop. Went to 2 after a few days, then 5. Changed my water filter, added air purifiers, had my mercury amalgam fillings removed, got the bad crowns recapped, no pain there now, and started the Revive mouth guard, which has been realigning my bite and my jaw no longer clicks. We'll have an affiliate link at the end of the show if you want to get one of those. The healing of that gives you a discount. The healing events is a result of the Love Your Liver nutrition principles. April 2025, doing box jumps. Something in my neck straightened out. July 2025, doing pull-ups. My shoulder blade cracked right where I was hurt at 12. The relief was unbelievable. From there, it seemed that the paraesophageal hernia had been fixed. Actually harder to detect and reverse than a hiatal hernia. Then, September 2025, playing pickleball, I reached up to spike a ball and felt the original injury pain exactly as it was at 12. 2 days where I couldn't sit or bend over. My friends were genuinely alarmed, and that's the irony. Everyone around me thought I was in trouble, and I was calm in the middle of it because I trusted that this was retracing. 3 or 4 days later, relief. and the injury I'd carried for 20 years simply wasn't there anymore, aside from very mild tingling and numbing that is getting better and better. People don't have to believe in retracing and unwinding. But when it happens and you're doing the right things, which is what we do here, and you let it work itself out, and that one of the big things with retracing is that you have to be feeling better before it happens. Like when people are just feeling like crap all the time and they're like, I'm detoxing. No, if you're feeling like crap all the time, you're making yourself feel like crap all the time. You're probably not doing the right things. You should be getting better, and then you might have a retracing thing. You feel a little worse for a bit, like he said he did, and then you feel better. There has to be an upward improvement, or you're not really getting better. So this is the key thing. Retracing or unwinding is where old symptoms return for a short time. The longer you had them, the longer they show up for, and then they go away on their own. Okay. Where I am now, 2026, from about 10% healed to roughly 80%. Full neck rotation is back after 20 plus years. Digestion is dramatically better, though I'll be honest, my bowels still aren't 100% and some mild gastritis symptoms linger sometimes. Left eye blur is still there, but improving. The tingling and numbness in my shoulder blade is down to a trace. Scalloped tongue gone, less shaky, jaw is realigning. Lump is 25% of what it was before. The heart palpitations and anxiety are gone. Urine stream is a lot stronger, still needs improvement. Any acne I used to have is gone. Angry gas is gone. That's good. Excessive burps are a work in progress. This will get better, I promise you. Oh my gosh, when I was going through the nickel detox, the burping and farting I had were crazy. So yeah, I understand. On pain, the number says it best. At my worst, the discomfort and symptoms, I'd have called it an 8.5. For the last several months, a 3. I started PEA 4 days ago. Right now it's a 1, and I never dreamed of feeling this close to normal again. I now believe that deficiencies and toxicities were the root cause underneath all of it, including that shoulder injury at 12 I could never shake, which drove the swelling and musculoskeletal changes that became my digestive problems. My middle back problem that nobody could ever figure out was a toxicity problem. It was vitamin A and nickel. And only when I finally fixed those problems did my middle back get better. And now I'm doing stuff in the gym that, well, I've gotten my hamstrings a lot more flexible. I was doing RDLs, Romanian deadlifts. Those of you who lift know what these are. But I've gotten my hamstring flexibility so much better that I'm now literally touching going on the floor with the bar as a Romanian deadlift. So I can actually reach the floor with the weights. And those used to flare up my middle back so bad that I just never did them. I just avoided doing them entirely because I just knew I was going to be in pain for 3 days after it. I did them just 2 days ago and I don't have any problems. Did I fix it with exercise? No, I fixed it with biochemistry and fixing toxicities and deficiencies. So 30 years of accumulation, 2 years of actual reversal. I'm currently 37. Dr. Smith, thank you. You are welcome. I won't say your name. I don't say anybody's name. I don't give initials. I don't say names. These are, if you guys want to see these testimonials, if you're in the Love Your Liver program, you can go verify that they're there. Just search for some of the key words in these and you'll find them. So testimonial number 4, a salve testimonial. I had a small growth that looked like a scab on my right side for several months that would itch off and on. I decided to give the salve a try and applied it morning and night for about 3 months. The spot finally gave up and went away. Thank you, Kelsey and Garrett, for making such great, effective products. I love you too. Thank you very much. Testimonial number 5, we have a PEA win. After 1 dose of PEA, my bladder pain, suspected interstitial cystitis, disappeared. 1 dose. I wanted to share that on the live stream, but I missed it. Well, here we are. This was one of my main symptoms that brought me here to the Love Your Liver community. I've been taking 1/8 of a teaspoon 3 times daily now for 2 weeks and still pain-free. Oh, and also my acne has completely cleared up. Bonus. Thank you, Dr. Garrett Smith and Kelsey Kenny. Yes. So remember the zinc, Kelsey brought us the PEA after the nickel toxicity research she did, and Kelsey is the formulator of the zinc and niacin salve. So she is super valued around here. Testimonial number 6, PEA and Love Your Liver win. Our 2-year-old daughter had been experiencing digestive problems since before she began eating solid food, including more than a year of blood, mucus, and loose stools and episodes of lethargy. The Children's Hospital thought it might be lymphonodular hyperplasia and or reduced bacterial diversity in the intestine. Okay. I'm not rolling my eyes at the testimonial. I'm rolling my eyes at people. Okay, so folks, if you have health conditions, you have a messed up gut biome. That's just the way it is. The gut biome makes the bile more toxic. The more toxic bile goes back to the liver. The liver has to reprocess it, and then it puts it back out again. So I call it the bile to biome like circulation. It's the enterohepatic circulation. If you remember, there was the low nickel diet study where they gave either a low nickel diet to multiple different types of gut biome problems, fermentative, putrefactive, mixed. And what they saw by the end of the study was that if people just did the low nickel diet, their gut biome in general moved towards normal. Just the low nickel diet moved their gut biome towards normal. The people who took the right probiotics based on their stool test got better faster. Okay, so that makes sense. If you fix the soil and you also plant seeds, you're going to get a garden faster than if you just fix the soil, right? And then wait for things to come by in the wind or whatever to naturally populate. Or then if you do sun fiber, then you can feed the lactobacillus and the bifido, which is the fermentative is the lactobacillus deficiency. The bifido is the putrefactive deficiency. And you can feed both of them at the same time and balance it out quicker. They advised us that most infants outgrow the problem without further intervention, yet it was alarming to continue seeing blood month after month. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't mind the blood. That's just, they'll grow out of it. That had to be horribly disconcerting and concerning. Oh my gosh. I never had to deal with anything like that, but I can't imagine. Oh, at times, blood was all we would see in her diaper. We tried numerous diets and approaches, elimination diet, following a low FODMAP diet, reaching out to numerous practitioners, both local and online, and trying enzymes, probiotics, peptides, and cod liver oil. One test came back positive for C. diff, and we completed an entire homeopathic C. diff protocol. Although there were periods of improvement, the flare-ups and bleeding would return. After a year, that's like duration paradox right there. After a year, we went back to the hospital looking for answers. When they recommended a colonoscopy and an upper endoscopy using Miralax for the bowel prep, we could not sign off because of our concerns about the potential harm to our daughter. She finally began to turn a corner around the time a practitioner recommended magnesium citrate to soften her stools. Thankfully, the bleeding appeared to stop. Her stools remained abnormal. We started Love Your Liver in October 2025 and recently incorporated the low nickel program. Her energy and appearance improved, yet her stools remained abnormal. Then 3 weeks ago, we began giving her 1/16 of a teaspoon of PEA 3 times a day. A few days later, she had her first normal formed stool. We had never seen that before. And she's had normal formed stools ever since, and we were able to stop the magnesium citrate. Amazing. Although my wife and I have experienced some intense detox reactions, we are also seeing benefits from this program. We are settling in and staying the course. Good job. Settling in. There's the saying. You've been watching. We are grateful to Dr. Smith, Kelsey, and everyone involved in this program for all the information and support you have provided. Cheers. Okay. Now, this last testimonial, you got to follow it here, okay? God has a plan for my life, and God led me to you. 2 summers ago, 2 years ago, right? 1 week before flying to Germany, I had a cholestasis event where I got really sick and knew it was not a cold. My blood pressure was high, 180 over 100 regularly. I haven't gone to doctors for 20 years now, and I knew this sickness was different. Wanted to get blood tested. So I went to any lab for blood work. I'm not familiar with that. That must be a German company. While in Germany, I saw a doctor who listened and prescribed me antibiotics. Because I was walking a lot, Our place is on a high hill. I quickly found out that walking upwards I couldn't do, and I needed to rest. I felt like I became an old person overnight. Antibiotics can do that. So 2 days later, I went back to the doctor. He asked me why I was there since he gave me antibiotics. Don't they fix everything, right? I told him I cannot walk without having to rest, and that is when I had a real checkup. Checked my heart, took blood, and I did a stool test. Said I had a horrible microbiome after antibiotics? No way. And did an ultrasound. He really thought it was my gallbladder. So remember, this is still 2 years ago. While performing the ultrasound on all my organs, he took a screenshot of a red blob. He didn't say a word. After all, he was not my doctor. I never asked him why he took the photo, and I never told anyone in my family either. The next doctor I saw, a friend thought his doctor could help, looked at my German blood work, asked me if I took the jab, and then wanted to listen to my lungs. I had issues walking up our stairs. He told me he and 2 other doctors know this cough. Gosh, do you think it was the nickel cough? Left over from Corona coof. And they found out this low dose of antibiotics would cure this situation. He then asked me how long I was going to be in Germany, and I told him. So he prescribed me 40 days of a low dose antibiotic, which would end once I was back in the States. I took just 10 days worth and it stopped. It did help with breathing. After returning home, I found on Rumble a comment referring to an interview someone had with Garrett. That's me. So I listened, intrigued. I kept listening, joined Love Your Liver, began a beef, beans, and barley diet, which I did religiously for 8 months. I was sick and I knew it. 4 months later, support in the Love Your Liver led me to try some coffee enemas, which I did daily, usually 4 or 5 of them in one go. Wow, you had some time. So, wow, 4 or 5 of them in one go. About 6 weeks after the enemas, I started feeling a bit better. I was surprised I got through the winter without a bipolar low. Gosh, and you weren't taking rat poison bait? I was still drinking and still am. A bottle of red wine at night. Okay, this is not going to help the process. However, what it does demonstrate is that people can improve while they're doing this. Now, normally if people want to do coffee enemas, you can. What it does is it's a focused dumping of bile. The coffee triggers a bile dump, and then the enema triggers explosive pooping. Okay, so that's the coffee enema does help you get rid of bile. Not everybody wants to do coffee enemas. If you're going to do them, great. They can help. Do I advise them? Do them if you want. I'm not telling you to do them. So, but I will say, healing is going to be inhibited by a bottle of red wine a night. So before we go further, let's just acknowledge that, okay? So she can do whatever she wants. I'm not saying anything here nor there about it, except the reality of a bottle of wine a night is definitely going to get in the way of your healing process. Okay. Oh, yeah. I brought Joe's asking if I have a glass of water nearby. Yeah, I noticed my throat. Thanks, Joe. I noticed my throat got dry the last episode towards the end. And I was like, I should have a glass of water. So I brought it today, and then I got to have Joe remind me to drink water. Okay, currently, while in Germany again, I thought I would do a high-definition ultrasound to find out what is really going on in my body. The ultrasound started off with my left kidney and then went to my pancreas. The doctor also took a screenshot of a blob. I asked him what it was. It had no color. It wasn't red. It had no color. The doctor said I didn't need to worry because the blob was calcified, whatever that means. Well, your body's walled it off, and it's turning it into a piece of calcium instead of a piece full of whatever it was. He then looked at the pancreas and saw damage, low levels of scarring. He checked my other kidney and went to the liver. He saw nothing strange in the liver, no scarring, and said I have low levels of fatty liver. I will be 60 years old soon. He found no reason to have the super high resolution ultrasound of the liver. I will have blood work done when I get back into the States. Curious to see how it will go compared to the first one I had 2 years ago. Did I dodge a bullet? I think you did dodge a bullet. Her name is Hound Jog. That's her YouTube name. I think you did dodge a bullet. And I think as you move towards 2 things, as you move towards less wine. And as you move towards less nickel, you will get even better, even faster. For your information, I took 500 to 1,500 milligrams of flush niacin a day along with your supplements. Well, that could be a bunch of things, but yes, thank you for that. Lactoferrin was up to 2 pills a day and also used taurine. Thank you for all your work and doing God's will in helping people. So, yeah, I didn't mind putting the YouTube name here because it doesn't have your name with it. So, okay, so that is basically that. So let me go. Joe posted a couple of super chats. Let me hit on those. Okay. Sergio said, started PEA 3 weeks ago and started getting severe cough, GERD, and sulfur smell in your mouth. Could PEA relax the sphincter or it's nickel detox? Love you. Okay, so Sergio, it was what, Jim something was your brand of PEA? What was it? Jim. Let me see if I can find it. It was Jim something. Jim Beam. Jim Beam. That's hilarious. But it's Jim like GYM. Okay, so there was some stuff I told Sergio about at the start. So first, let me share the tab. Here we go. This is the one I believe he's taking, and we went over this on the live stream because Sergio is a big fan and he likes to do super chats, so we get to his questions. So we have the PEA, we have the capsule, which is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, anti-caking agent, magnesium salts of fatty acids. So that means there might be more than that. Means there's at least magnesium stearate in there. There may be other magnesium palmitate. I don't know. And a bulking agent, as in microcrystalline cellulose. Now, I talked to Sergio about, actually, this was on some of the comments on YouTube. Magnesium stearate we found. So when we tell people with the more pure PEA supplements that you can open the capsule and just put it in your mouth, we're talking about capsules like from Pure Bulk or bulk supplements or eventually ours that don't have fillers in them. Or they definitely don't have magnesium stearate in them. Because if you look up magnesium stearate, and if you take magnesium stearate by mouth, like not in a capsule, it can cause coughing. Breathing in magnesium stearate is known to cause pretty severe coughing. So we have a suspect there. Now, if he took it just the capsules, but let's say the manufacturer, one of the capsules opened or leaked, or during the manufacturing process, the capsules got covered with some of the magnesium stearate, and then you swallow it. If you're sensitive to that, Sergio, and it touches your throat, you might get a cough. I can tell you, like, my mom accidentally breathed in some flush niacin once. She's got her Parkinson's-like syndrome, which is improving on the PEA, but the way she swallows, she's got issues with swallowing. That's a normal thing. She somehow opened up one of the flush niacin capsules with her tongue, the way that it moves back there, and she breathed in some of it, and she got like a hacking cough for like a week. Because you're not supposed to have it back there. It's like that PEA study where they had the mice snort the PEA and they're like, oh, it caused inflammation. And you're like, don't snort PEA, right? So could we have a couple things? Does PEA cause some detox? It has in some people. So could PEA cause some of this? Severe cough could be the nickel cough coming out. What you're going to want to watch for is it getting better over time? Is it getting better or worse? Because if you're taking things that are irritating a problem, and if you keep picking a scab, it tends to stay the same or get worse, right? So if you're getting worse from it over time, probably not doing the right thing. It could be one of the other ingredients in it. But if it's detox, as you get less toxic, the issue should get smaller. That's the thing that nobody talks about with detox. Like if you're literally detoxing, the problems should decrease over time. Not right away, but they should decrease over time. So that's where people will just be like, "Oh, I've been detoxing for like the last year," and you're like, "No, you're not. No, that's the wrong impression. That's the wrong diagnosis of what's going on for you." So, okay, but I can't say what's going on. But like you got to watch for, is it getting better or is it getting worse? Let me look at that testimony, or that severe cough, GERD, and sulfur smell in your mouth. There's something weird going on there. Here's what I would say, Sergio, is I'd say try another brand of PEA. That doesn't, but GERD is nickel toxicity. Severe cough, we talk about the nickel cough. Sulfur smell in your mouth, could that be some sort of detox? It could be. Sulfur smell, that could be from bile. So you need to see that it's getting better. If you continue taking it, first of all, you should be reducing your dose, seeing if over time you can reduce your dose so the symptoms go away. That's important. And then see if they slowly improve over time. If you find a dose where you're tolerating it just fine, and then you increase over time as you feel fine increasing, then it may not be the PEA. But we have a couple of things here. We have the fillers. It could be sussy PEA. I don't know anybody who uses this brand other than you. So could the PEA be sussy? Sure, why not? Coach Kim makes sussy stuff, so why can't other people? So I don't. That's what I got. I would try a different brand of PEA and try to get a powder if you can. Okay. Okay. Shadow ZI6JN says, I'm having tooth erosion with nickel detox. You're pushing too hard. You're pushing the detox too hard. I would, and he added, it's worse with niacin buffered / flush. It's pushing detox too hard. You need to back off. You think it may be sleep bruxism from detox stress. Is that possible? Yes. Get a Revive. Or get Plackers. The PLACKER, at least get that to put it between your teeth. Does detox cause some stress? Yeah. So, okay, don't take things that push detox. You may have to back out of the nickel detox a bit and eat some more of the foods you used to. And yeah, so folks, you can definitely push things too hard. You can definitely push things too hard. So if you think you're having problems arising on the nickel detox, this is why we tell people to walk into it, don't run. And if you see that you're pushing things too hard, back off. Okay? But yeah, then if you think it's from grinding your teeth at night, get something that goes between your teeth, like a Revive or the Plackers that is the night. It's like the super inexpensive little flat night guards that go in there, which is one of the things that the Revive guy says to use if you can't use the Revive for a while, or if you choose not to, you can use those. They're better than nothing. So yeah, I would get something in there. I would not take things that worsen it, and maybe slow down on the detox. That's the best recommendation I got. It's time for this famous saying. This is not a game. This is not a game. So don't push it too hard. Because then you got to back out of, if you actually do tooth damage, that doesn't always just go away. So save your teeth. Don't push too hard. Okay. This bile coming back up from your stomach, and that can eat away at your teeth. And then if you're grinding your teeth down, my dad literally had flat teeth all the way across. He ground so much. Okay. I think we covered that one. Joe, were there any more? I think I got those. Okay. I'm going to have another drink. No more super chats. Okay, y'all. We've been here 2 hours. I think that's good. I'm going to head through the links. I did not get to see if Kelsey showed up in the chat, but if she did, Hi, Kelsey. Text land. Sergio said Jim Beam. Yeah, Jim Bean or Jim Beam. He said, I stopped opening the capsules, but I still get the same symptoms. Then like it's either detox or something in the capsules. And could it be sussy PEA? Well, why not? What else did you say? And from 4 capsules went to 1. So okay, Sergio said honestly felt like nickel detox, but I don't get the sulfur smell and GERD. I don't know. Jim Beam is a Slovak company, one of the best in Europe. Oh, I don't know. Is there a possibility that you just don't get along with it? Sure. That's always a possibility. But I don't know. It's very atypical. We haven't come across this yet, Sergio, so I can't say what it is. So the only way to know would be to get a different brand and try that and see if you get the same reaction, and to try to get a pure brand like something that is just PEA in a powder. That's what I would do. Yeah. So, okay. That's what I got. Hopefully that helps, Sergio. And if it does, let us know next week. Okay, so we're going to run through these things. Joe, if you want to have that last text thing of today's show, we'll head through them now. So first, nutritiondetective.com is our main website. That's where you can find all this stuff. We just redid the website, so if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I like it. I think it looks great. So go check that out. That's where you can find the normal store, the shop. That's where anybody can go and buy any of our products. So you'll find the VIP store, which is where Love Your Liver members get discounts on all of our supplements. There's the membership program, which is the Love Your Liver program, which you heard about multiple times in these testimonials. And that's where you have a forum, a private social network, if you will, where you can talk to other people about what we do here and find best practices and hear what works for other people and all that stuff without the obnoxiousness and the nastiness of places like, oh, I don't know, Facebook and Twitter, so you don't have to go there and deal with all those weirdos who are just nasty. So anyway, then you can find the testing and consultation packages with Kelsey. We've got those there. And then you can find the supplement instructions. We have detailed instructions for all of our supplements under the shop drop down. So there's that. If you want to go directly to the Love Your Liver program, that is you can enter this link, members.nutritiondetective.com. You can go there and enroll, or you can find it from the website at the membership link. Our free email course, about 17 emails. If you sign up for it, you can go to madnessofmodernnutrition.com and sign up for it there, or you can find it on our website. YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this. YouTube.com/nutritiondetective. This is where we are quite popular. We're putting out reels here and all that stuff. So make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, and the other thing is on your phone. Okay, this doesn't work on your PC. On your phone, one of the 3-dot menus or whatever, drop it down, look for the hype button. The hype button, you can only do it for so long after a new episode has come out. So as soon as you see this episode, go on your phone, find this video, find the hype button, or, Chat GPT. How do I find the hype button on YouTube? Go and do that. That is how YouTube is really helping people. And the hype button is only up for a certain period of time after a new video comes out. Okay. So give us some hype, y'all. Okay. Then we have Rumble. Rumble is where all of our unedited episodes are. Sometimes I have to edit episodes because I say naughty words on the YouTubes. So I have to take the episode down. So if you ever see a live stream and you're like, I knew there was a live stream today, Dr. Smith, where'd it go? It means I probably said a naughty word or two, and I had to take it down so that the police, the Gestapo wouldn't find it. I got to get it down before the AI catches it. And then I have to edit out that part, and then I can put it back up. So if you ever want to see even episode 198, that's an episode That's what got me my warning here. That's on Rumble, if you ever want to find the missing episode 198. Otherwise, everything's on YouTube. So I tend to be pretty careful with my my naughty words. Sometimes I get a little hyped up, though. Twitter, NutriDetect, if you want to find me there. I'm going to be posting some threads there now, some mega threads that people, I kind of got known for them on Twitter, but I hadn't been doing them for a while. I don't answer much on any social media, folks. I don't have time to be on all the social media to check all the comments and all that stuff. So just know that if you're trying to contact me there, you're probably not going to get a hold of me. Okay, Instagram, the.real nutrition detective, if you want to find me there. Facebook, the same thing, the.real nutrition detective. TikTok, @nutrition detective. Substack, this is where I'm also going to, I put out an article based on the vitamin A deficiency doesn't exist on Substack. So I'm going to be posting more stuff on Substack too. So if you want to find that, you can go there and look at that. Like I'll probably make a Substack out of the mineral excesses and deficiencies that we went over in today's live stream. So, oh wait, that's not happening anymore. Don't, let me get rid of that one. Okay. Just so you know, for those of you who liked Beth Martin's group in the Love Your Liver program, she chose, and there's no ill will. Beth decided she couldn't manage to do those anymore with her schedule and stuff like that. So sadly, she's not doing those anymore. She's still super active in the Love Your Liver program, and she's still doing her Beth of Fresh Air podcast. She just had Kelsey on for the second time, I think a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's still going very well. She just decided she couldn't do the weekly free deprogramming your health stuff. Still love her work. Actually, I'm planning on scheduling another session with her soon. So love her work, but she's just not doing the free one in the Love Your Liver anymore. All good things come to an end. Then we have Revive mouth guard. We talked about it multiple times here. One of the testimonials talked about how much it has helped him. I'm going to tell you, I love this thing. Like I don't want to sleep without it anymore. If I sleep, it's like, although I do sleep in the buff, it feels like I'm sleeping naked without the Revive on. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. So the Revive can help your teeth and your jaw and everything to reorganize themselves. It's not braces. It's not making your teeth do anything. It's actually a flat, plain mouth guard. So that means your teeth are not locked in. They're on a flat plane, right? So your teeth can move. And then they find the best place. And we may see eventually, we may see my little gap disappear because of the Revive. So anyway, I really love them. You can get a discount code there. Spurdy, people have been asking me, Dr. Smith, if I don't take the rat poison bait, how do I keep my vitamin D levels up in the wintertime? You can do it with tanning beds. You can do it with a Spurdy tanning lamp. There's 2 here. You get, there's the affiliate links. I think you get a discount with the affiliate link. I'm pretty sure you do. But anyway, you can get one of these and do, 3 minutes a day. You could work up to maybe 5 if I recall correctly. And that'll get you enough to get through the winter. Or like the gym I go to in Idaho, they have a tanning bed. It's $5 a use. So then you pay the gym's fee for the month, and then you can pay $5 a time to use the tanning bed during the winter months. There are so many tanning salons in Idaho. Why? Because that people know it helps them feel better. Stop being afraid of the tanning beds. You want to know who made you afraid of the tanning beds? L'Oreal and their research, because they want to sell you sunscreen. And also, if people are happier during the winter months, they're not going to be on as many antidepressants. They're not going to buy as much alcohol. They're not going to do all the terrible things that they do during the winter when they're depressed. You literally think tanning beds are worse than the things people do in the winter when they get depressed and then they start doing all these bad things for themselves? The purpose of a system is what it does. If tanning beds literally make people happier and healthier, and the system doesn't want you happy and healthy, what's the system going to tell you not to do? They're going to tell you not to do tanning beds. They also tell you not to do the sun. What a coinky dink. If you would like to see the highlights that I went over today, GLASP, There's my little glass link at the bottom. That has all the highlighted things that I did today, actually plus more, because sometimes I highlight things and I don't use that paper, but it's got all the highlights. You can go and look at it. So then we're wrapping up. So I can hear my voice wrapping up again. I am Dr. Garrett Smith, known as the Nutrition Detective around these here YouTube parts. And that was a fun little show. Next week, we're going to do the liver biopsy. I'm going to show you that the vitamin A toxicity epidemic does exist, and it's been going on for years. But today's episode, we went over tretinoin, magic vitamin A, nickel, and PEA, and a bunch of testimonials. We went over the minerals that go up and down with age, that go along with people feeling worse or dying earlier, and all these things. So this was the research you need to see. I'm glad I was able to whip this together for you guys. And then, yeah, we'll do the vitamin A toxicity epidemic next week. Thank you for coming. Enjoy your week. I'll see you next time. Bye now.